Hello students, this is a lesson on the system of equations substitution method, and in the first problem here we're going to show what the solution is of these two equations. Now for the substitution method we're going to take what one of the variables is equal to and substitute what it is equal to into the other equation to find for the other variable. And once we find that variable, we're going to plug it back into the original equation and find out then what both variables are. So in the first equation, we have y equals 6x minus 11, and we have 2x plus 3y equals 7. So when we see y is equal to something, what we're going to do is we're going to put parentheses around that. And now we're going to find where is y in the second equation. It's right here next to the 3. We're going to put parentheses around that. Some people circle it. So we're going to take 6x minus 11 and put it into this equation. So we're going to rewrite it. So basically we have 2x plus 3 times, see how we made the parenthesis, 6x minus 11, and that is equal to 7. So you can see we took what y was equal to, substituted in for y, and then we rewrote the entire equation with what y is equal to. Now we're going to simplify this, and we're going to start off by rewriting, and also in this case we're going to use the distribution method. So we're going to rewrite 2x plus, and so we're going to multiply 3 times 6x, 18x. Now we're going to multiply 3 times negative 11, that'll be negative 33, equals 7. Okay, now we're down to just combining variables. We have 2x plus 18x, so we have 20x minus 33 equals 7. We're going to add 33 on both sides because we've got to get x by itself. Sorry, add 33 on both sides, bring down 20x. So what is 7 and 33? It's 40. Final move to get x by itself is divide each side by 20. So we find after doing this procedure, we have x is equal to 40 divided by 20. So 40 divided by 20 is 2. So good work on that. Now what we're going to do, as I said earlier, we're going to take what x is equal to and we're going to plug it back into the equation here where y is equal to 6x minus 11. We got to find out what y is. So let's rewrite the equation up here. Y is equal to 6x minus 11. We found that x is equal to 2, so we're going to rewrite that. 6 times 2 minus 11. So what is y? I'm sorry, what is 6 times 2? 6 times 2 is 12. Bring down the negative 11. So in the end, y is equal to 12 minus 11, which is 1. It says show the solution of these two equations. So we're going to write it as a coordinate on a graph. We're going to put the x in the first spot, 2, and we said y is equal to 1. So the solution of these two equations is 2, 1. Okay, so in our next problem, we're going to find the directions saying find the sum of the solutions. This is very similar to the same type of substitution problem we just did in number 1, but in this case, we are going to do one more math operation at the end. So let's go ahead and do this again. This time we have a negative 7x minus 2y equals negative 13. This time x is equal to 2y plus 11. So we are going to put a parenthesis around what x is equal to. And in the first equation, we're going to put a parenthesis around x. We're going to substitute what x is equal to in for the top equation. So we rewrite negative 7 times 2y plus 11 parenthesis minus 2y equal to negative 13. Same thing we did before. We took what x is equal to, substituted in for x in the equation. We have negative 7 times what x is equal to, wrote out the rest of the equation, minus 2y equaling negative 13. Remember, we used the distributive method, so negative 7 times 2y is going to be negative 14y. Negative 7 times 11, so that'll be negative 77. And now we're just going to rewrite the rest of the equation, minus 2y, and that's going to be equal to minus 13. Okay, we can combine our like variables, so we have a negative 14 and a negative 2y, so that will give us a negative 16y minus 77 equals negative 13. And now what we're going to do is try to get y by itself. So we're going to move the number 77 over to the other side. We're going to do the opposite operation. We see a negative, we're going to add. So we have negative 16y equal to 77 minus 13. That's going to give us positive 64. And like before, to get y by itself, we're going to divide by the number next to the variable. We have to do that on both sides. So y will be equal to, how many times will 16 go into 64? It'll be 4 times, but it's negative, so the final answer is y equals negative 4. Remember before then, once we found out what y was, we plug it back into the equation to then solve for x. So here we had x is equal to 2y plus 11. We said y is equal to negative 4, so x is equal to 2 times negative 4, because we've got to put in the number for the variable y, plus 11. X is equal to 2 times negative 4. That's going to be a negative 8. Plus 10, plus 11. And so negative 8 plus 11, or 11 minus 8, x will be equal to 3. Now before, what we did is we took the solution and we wrote it with the x number first and the y number, what y was equal to second. But look at the direction. It says find the sum of the solutions. So what are we going to do? We're going to add x and y together. So I'm going to take 3, and in this case, when you add, you're going to basically add a negative would be subtract, basically 3 and negative 4. So 3 minus 4 is going to be equal to negative 1. So negative 1 is the final answer for the sum of the solutions. Okay. All right, one more thing I would like to review in the system of equations with the substitution method is this. For problem 3, we're going to say that once we eliminated the number next to the variable, the number and the variable, and all you had were numbers left, instead of a number and a variable, you just have numbers left. If the two numbers left are equal to each other, then the solution to the problem is just writing out infinite solutions. And in the case when we eliminate both the number and the variable that were next to each other, and you end up with two numbers, but look, they're not equal to each other. 0 does not equal 12, then you just write out the words no solution. So thank you very much for reviewing this lesson on the system of equations substitution method.